Hello viewers, it's good to see you again in our daily bulletin. Up next as headlines as usual. State President Trần Đại Quang begins his state visit to Singapore. Vietnam Euro-Asian Economic Union FTA to take effect in October. Artist Phan Ngọc Huê tries to preserve Hàng Châu folk paintings. On the afternoon of August 28, President Trần Đại Quang and his entourage left Brunei Darussalam for Singapore to begin a 3-day state visit to the island country as guest of Singaporean President Tony Keng Yam. The Vietnam-Singapore strategic partnership has been growing fruitfully over the past years, as seen through regular visits at all levels and expanded cooperation between their parties, states, parliaments and governments. The two Southeast Asian nations have also enjoyed thriving collaboration in economics, trade and investment, defense security, education training, transport, tourism, finance and law. Singapore now ranks 3rd and 8th among ASEAN and global trade partners of Vietnam, respectively. Bilateral trade has risen sharply in recent years, hitting $16.22 billion in 2015. Singapore has 1,643 valid investment projects with a total registered capital of over $37.9 billion in Vietnam at present, placing it in the 3rd position out of the 116 countries and territories investing in the latter. The Vietnam-Singapore industrial parks in Bình Dương, Bắc Ninh and Quảng Ngãi provinces and Hải Phòng City have operated effectively and considered a symbol of bilateral cooperation. Earlier the same day, President Trần Đại Quang attended and delivered a speech at the Vietnam-Brunei Darussalam Business Forum. The event saw the attendance of representatives from 250 enterprises of both countries. In his speech, President Quang briefed the participants about Vietnam's socio-economic development, trade revenues and foreign direct investment attraction. The country attracted around 21,700 FDI projects worth over $293 billion from 116 countries and territories. As many as $148 billion have been disbursed. Regarding Vietnam-Brunei trade and investment ties, President Quang said Vietnam attaches great importance to Brunei investment projects and pledged to create the best conditions for foreign investors to run long-term business in the country. The leader also affirmed that Vietnam encourages Brunei businesses to invest in the fields of its strength, such as energy, oil and gas, finance, real estate, tourism, and infrastructure development. At the forum, President Quang witnessed the signing of a memorandum of understanding on the enhancement of bilateral economic cooperation between Brunei Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade Dato Lim Joc Sen and Vietnamese Minister of Industry and Trade Trần Tuấn Anh. Also on August 28, Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc worked with key leaders of the South Central Province of Phú Yên. More in the following report. In the first 7 months of 2016, Phú Yên socio-economic situation remained stable despite effects from the prolonged drought, causing water shortages for more than 100,000 households and over 200 hectares of rice farming land. The province's regional gross domestic product hit 7.9% in the first half of this year, while its state budget collection reached 3.2 trillion Vietnam dong. The tourism sector has played an increasing important role in Phú Yên socio-economic development, bringing home 880 billion Vietnam dong in revenue last year. Addressing the section, Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc asked the local authorities to fully tap potentials and advantages to turn tourism into a spearhead economic sector of Phú Yên province. He pointed out shortcomings and weaknesses the province is facing, such as tardy and unsustainable economic growth, low contributions by the industrial sector, poor living conditions of farmers and fishermen, high rates of poor households, and slow administrative reforms. The Prime Minister requested Phú to actively accelerate economic integration, create optimal conditions for businesses, and protect the environment while calling for investments. The same day, Chairwoman of the National Assembly, Nguyễn Thị Kim Ngân, met 445 outstanding young people who are in Hanoi to attend the 4th Congress of Outstanding Youth following Uncle Ho's teachings. These young people are the most outstanding examples in different fields. They have achieved excellent results in study, work and creativity, and made great contributions to youth union movements. While congratulating the youth, Chairwoman Ngân said that the country is stepping the process of national reform, so young people should enhance the movement of studying and following Uncle Ho's teachings and uphold their role as pioneers and future masters of the country. The top legislator also urged the young people to make greater efforts in studying and working. She affirmed that the party, state and people always pin faith on younger generations and expects them to contribute more to the country's socio-economic development. Trade revenues between Vietnam and the Euro-Asian Economic Union are expected to increase to $10 to $12 billion by 2020 after a free trade agreement between the two sides takes effect in October this year. The Ministry of Industry and Trade estimated that the figure triples total bilateral trade revenue of roughly $4 billion in 2014. Vietnam's exports to the Union alone are expected to grow by 18 to 20% per year. The Union consists of Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Armenia, and Kyrgyzstan. The related countries have ratified the agreement after signing it in Kazakhstan on May 29, 2015. The agreement covers a market of almost 183 million people and accounts for 3.2% of global gross domestic product. Vietnam and the Union will cut about 90% of their lines of tariff. They will slash the rate for nearly 60% of tariff lines to 0% immediately after the agreement becomes effective. Experts said Vietnam's major exports such as garments and textiles, footwear, farm produce and seafood will have more opportunities. The General Department of Vietnam Customs has targeted reducing customs clearance time for exports and imports to 10 days and 12 days respectively this year.
By 2020, the sector aims to cut customs clearance time for exports and imports to below 36 hours and 41 hours. The rate of imports subject to specialized inspections will be cut to 15% later this year. Each year, the cost of administrative procedures will be cut by at least 10%. According to the department, the National Single Window System will be made available for all ministries and sectors between 2016 and 2020. All procedures will be conducted online and connected with the ASEAN Single Window to facilitate the trade of Vietnamese goods. Additionally, Vietnam Customs Information System will also be connected with the ASEAN Information Technology System.
The Vietnam Post and Telecommunications Group, VNPT, will provide free wireless internet signals along pedestrian streets around Hoàn Kiếm Lake and adjacent areas under a decision by the Hanoi People's Committee.
The installation of 21 Wi-Fi stations is expected for completion prior to the inauguration of the walking streets on September 1st, noting that the Department of Information and Communications will be in charge of techniques and operation of the Wi-Fi stations. According to the Department of Information and Communications, the pedestrian streets will include Đinh Tiên Hoàng, Lê Lai, Lê Thạch, Đinh Lễ, Nguyễn Xí, Trang Tiền, Hàng Khay, Lê Thái Tổ, Lò Sũ, and Hàng Dầu. So far, big cities such as Hội An, Huế, Đà Nẵng, Hải Phòng, and Hạ Long have offered free Wi-Fi services in public places for tourism.
Hàng Chồng painting is one of a genre of traditional Vietnamese woodcut painting in the north, apart from Dông Hồ and Kim Hoàng painting. The art form has played an important part in the spiritual life of Hanoians, but meticulous research about it is rarely found. Published earlier this year, the book Hàng Chồng Folk Painting Hanoi, which took artist Phan Ngọc Huê decades to complete, is one of a kind. 20 years after his retirement, the 80-year-old artist spends most of his free time visiting the Vietnam Fine Arts Museum, his former workplace. Here, painter Phan Ngọc Huê is often seen staring at folk paintings. He was one of those who collected these valuable items for the museum and has spent nearly 4 decades on researching the art of Hàng Chồng painting. He considers the book Hàng Chồng Folk Painting Hanoi his legacy of a lifetime.
I made the book with a love for the Vietnamese traditional art. I want people to know about things worth treasuring by the nation.
The 600-page work introduces readers a broad knowledge on Hàng Chồng painting, including its historical context, development process, and distinct characteristics that made it a cultural symbol of Hanoi. The author is praised for giving detailed descriptions for the 500 paintings depicted in his book. He said the most painstaking task was not writing these descriptions, but traveling to research and collect the paintings together.
It was the real headache at first. We searched numerous sources to collect every single painting.
According to Huê, Hàng Chồng painting dates back about 400 years. It was categorized into 4 main themes of religion, greetings, social affairs, and storytelling. The art form survived the first half of the 20th century, when Western culture began making inroads into Vietnam. Hàng Chồng painters are striving to preserve the traditional painting by updating their creations so that they can integrate into the modern taste. The book has been selected among the finalists of the 9th Bùi Xuân Phá Love for Hanoi Award, which has brought joy for the artist, whose biggest ambition is to make people aware of an appreciated genre of folk painting.
The book shows a great love for Hanoi by the author, because the capital city was once renowned for its Hàng Chồng painting. What valuable work!
And that has wrapped up our bulletin. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.